going on, DJBooth.net? This is Kareem Julian, and I'm here in the lab to give you guys a full HD video review of the new Stanton DJC.4 digital DJ controller. Alright everyone, so here it is. This is the Stanton DJC.4 digital DJ controller, and basically this is a nice compact controller. Looks like a 2-deck controller, but there is layering here for you to select deck C and deck D, so it does have 4 decks of control right out of the box. It comes bundled with virtual DJ LE, and all of the buttons and the layout is almost perfect for the virtual DJ style of setup. So this is one of the best controllers that I've ever used on virtual DJ that is actually more meant for virtual DJ, and it's not like a tractor controller or a Serato controller that someone's trying to shoehorn into virtual DJ. So if virtual DJ is your thing, then you might want to keep watching, because this is a great controller for virtual DJ LE and for the professional unit as well. So for overall impressions, the unit again is nice and compact. You're looking at about the same size as a Denon MC3000 or your Reloop 2-deck version of the Terminal Mix, the Terminal Mix 2. Also small, somewhat like the VCI 300, maybe a little bit smaller even. But you have a nice form factor. It's a completely metal build quality. You have a steel chassis here. You have nice cutouts on the sides, so that way you can grab it and take it with you very easily. You have a steel post style knobs here, so everything just feels really solid. You don't have any wobbles or shakes to your actual jog wheels. Everything just feels like it's built to last and will be good with you for years to come. So after the overall impressions, we'll go into the setup. Setup is fairly easy. All you do is plug in the USB cable that comes supplied with the unit. You also get a CD in the box. That CD will have your drivers on it, your software, your virtual DJ LE 4-deck version of the software. You install that on your computer, and as long as you have digital files in order to play the audio back, you're ready to go. All you need then is some speakers. So you either plug in RCAs or 1/4 inch to your master output, and then you're ready to play. Okay, next up we'll talk about the inputs, outputs, and everything found on the rear and the front panels of the Stanton DJC.4. So right from the left to right, we have the DC input. This controller does not come with a DC input, but everything powered straight from USB. But everything was working just as it's supposed to. You had good volume with your headphones, good output from your master outs, and you also had very nice lighting from all of your buttons and your VU meters. So everything feels powered just good enough with the USB, but it's worth pointing out that there is a DC input here, but we weren't able to test that because the unit does not come with one. You have your power on-off switch, your USB connection here. You have your master out balanced connection, 1/4 inch. Then you have your unbalanced master out, which is RCA. There is no booth output here, so you only have one master volume control knob and only these two to choose from. And you'll also notice here we have input 2, input 1. They're both RCA, and they can be selected to either come out as a phono level input or a line level input. They both have their own separate switches, so you can change that accordingly. And there's a ground post here for when you're using your vinyl decks. Now be careful with this setup, because when you get this straight out the box, the DJC.4, even though it does have input 1 and input 2 here, you can't really use these to play anything unless you upgrade to the Virtual DJ Pro 7 edition, and the upgrade price is actually $250. So the controller altogether is about $300, $350. And then in order to unlock this feature in particular, if you want to mix between your 2 decks here using your controller, you'll have to upgrade to Virtual DJ Professional. So keep that in mind. You have your PC and your through button here. That way you can determine whether you want to go straight through your aux through input, or if you want to go through your PC software only. So you also have your aux input here, which is a mini connection or 1/8 inch jack. And you have your separate input gain knob volume control, which is a real small knob and just does good enough for your gain needs on that input. There's also a Kensington lock here, so you can secure it down. Then we'll go over to the front of the unit. The front of the unit, from the left to right, you have your single microphone input here, along with your microphone level knob. This is a little bit bigger than the smaller knobs that they use for your input gain and your touch sensitivity. Each of your knobs have a separate touch sensitivity knob for the jog wheels. Next up, you have your crossfader line curve, your crossfader curve control, and you can make that either really sharp for quick cuts or you can make it really long for a smooth fade. You have your headphone section also on the front here. You have your headphone output in two flavors, your 1/4 inch and your mini. Then you have your headphone output level, and also a mix between the cue, what you have queued up, and the master, whatever's playing on the outside. Okay, now that we showed you the inputs and outputs, I'm going to touch base with you a little bit more on those additional inputs. So you will notice that we do have the additional inputs, and it's even advertised that this is a standalone mixer, but that's not quite the case because you'll always need to plug in a USB connection for power in order to use the controller. So you're always going to need your computer to power the device in one way or another. So it doesn't really necessarily work as a standalone mixer, and especially not directly out of the box because, like I said earlier, you're only getting Virtual DJ LE, you're not getting the professional version. The only way to mix these two external decks using your actual sliders and your volume control knobs here is to upgrade to the $250 upgrade option of the Virtual DJ Pro 7. The good part about that is whenever you upgrade to Virtual DJ Pro, you never have to pay for another upgrade again, so you upgrade one time and you're done. They also have some pretty good features. They got some video DJ capabilities as well. So it's a pretty cool software in general. And if you are a virtual DJ person, you really like virtual DJ a lot, this is probably the controller of choice for you because a lot of the buttons line up nicely with the virtual DJ software. And everything is just laid out and configured where it makes the most sense for virtual DJ. Whereas other controllers are usually configured for software such as Serato or Tractor, and then shoehorned into a virtual DJ style. This is more of a virtual DJ developed style of controller. So if virtual DJ is your thing, again, this is probably a controller that you're going to want to definitely check out. So also with the actual inputs, when you do upgrade to the professional version, you'll be able to pass time code signal directly through the internal sound card in order to play back your digital file. So say I got a turntable deck here, turntable deck there, I've got Virtual DJ Pro, I've upgraded, and I have two vinyl that are Virtual DJ timecode vinyl, then I can play back all my computer files using my record decks and then using my internal software and mixing capabilities of the DJC4. So a very good option to have. Again, you'll have to upgrade to the full version of the software in order to unlock that type of capability. Alright, so next up for the controller, we're just going to run it down how we normally do the controllers. We'll start with the heart of the mixing console of the actual controller, and that includes your fader here. You have a pretty loose fader. It's user replaceable, meaning if anything ever happens to it, you can just take your screws out and you can pop a replacement in there, or possibly even an upgrade, maybe Inno bender, something of that nature, and you're ready to go. You have your line faders, have a bit more resistance to them, all standard type stuff here. The crossfader actually is decent for scratching, not the best, but you know, most controllers aren't going to be that great. You have a pretty high cut-in distance, but again, I was able to do most of my scratches on here. But again, this type of unit is not really meant for scratching. It's just meant for, you know, mostly mixing, little baby scratches here and there. But you know, it suffices. It's pretty standard measure of what is found on other DJ controllers out there. Nothing special, nothing too fancy, but it just works. So next up we have your VU meters. These meters will either show left or right or your deck side. So I like that. Nice plus here, and you got a lot of meters here, so you do have a nice recognition of where your levels are. Next up, you have your 2 Q buttons here, your Q for each side. That way you know what's playing in your headphones versus what's playing in the master. And you also have another deck here. You have deck D, and you have another deck here too, deck C. So whenever you want to cue those, you have to cue those as well. And then you'll be where you need to be with the Q section. Next up, we have your low, mid, and high EQs along with the gain knob. Your low, mid, and highs are full kill EQs, and they have a push button style to them, and I like that a lot. You can just push the actual button and it will kill. You can push the knob and it will kill that complete range. Your low and your mid have a double function. When you press shift and you press the button, you turn the low into the filter of that actual channel or that deck. So as soon as you press shift and then you press the low knob, you actually turn it into a filter. And if you press shift and you press the mid knob, you turn it into a key. So it changes the key with the middle EQ. So cool dual functions on the EQs on the unit. Big fan. They work very nicely. The knobs are oversized. They have a rubberized feel to them. They do have a little wobble to them, but nothing too scary where I would think something would happen to the unit. Just be a little bit careful in transport, but everything's pretty standard here, and nothing really gave me the impression that anything was going to break or fall off anytime soon. Next up, you have your load and your browse controls. You have a nice oversized knob, pretty standard measure on most DJ controllers today. You can load to AC or BD. You also have your sampler volume knob and your master volume knob. Again, there's no booth output, so there's no extra booth volume control there. That would have been nice to have for those of us who like to go out and play and need monitoring solution. But this is as it comes, and it's just the master knob only. Okay, next up we'll talk about the actual decks. You have the decks on either side of the mixing console. And first thing you notice when you look at the deck is the jog wheel. So the jog wheels have no wobbles, no give, no shake to them whatsoever. It's a hard plastic outer rim, good for nudging and getting the exact speed that you need of your track. And you have a nice touch sensitive top here. So each of your touch sensitive tops are selected sensitivity based on the 2 knobs that you have down here, one for each of your jog wheels. You can put these in scratch mode where you have pretty tight jog wheel emulation. Not the best. They're not really one for one. But again, no DJ controller is really meant for scratching. Some are better than others. But I wouldn't put this at the list of the top of the scratching genre. This is more for mixing. But as you can see, you can do some baby scratching on it with no real issues. Next up, you have your pitch section here. You have a pitch range and pitch bend buttons. They double. When you press shift, the ranges change between 12, 20, 25, 33, 50, and 100, and 6, 8, and 10. So you have a long range that you can select here. I was a bit underwhelmed by the very small faders of the tempo pitch sliders. They do work just good enough for your beat matching, but I do like to have a little bit more room to play with, and they just didn't feel as great and high resolution as maybe some others on the market out there. But that's a minor gripe because I was able to beat match fine with them. You know, with a little bit of practice, any of you guys can beat match, and most of you guys are probably going to end up pressing the sync button anyway. But just worth pointing it out that some of the other controllers do have a slightly better feel to their actual pitch sliders. Next up, you have 4 sample banks per deck, 4 hot cues per deck. You have your loop in, out, delete, and then you have all your fader control, your FX controls at the top for FX1, FX2. In Virtual DJ LE, you do get a pretty good set of effects here. We have flip and double. We've got overloop, backspin, break, echo, flanger, beat grid. And you're allowed to select 3 different effects on either deck. So your 3 effects on this side will affect this deck. Your 3 effects on this side will affect the deck over here. Some of them can be applied simultaneously, so you can get 2 or 3 effects on one device, on one deck. Some of the other ones can't be combined depending on how they mesh together or not. So I'll just give you guys a quick demo so you can see how the hot cues, samples, loops, and some of the effects work.
I'm the glow. This shit I'm running. Shut it, little day. Wish work day. Hit in if she damn close to perfect. I'm at one stunt. I'm at one stunt. I'm at one stunt. I'm at one stunt. I'm at one. I'm at one stunt. Throw on the rights. Get my man straight.
Okay, so in conclusion, what we have here with the Stanton DJC.4 is a very nice, compact, and heavy-duty controller. It's a virtual DJ controller. It has nice oversized EQ knobs with full kill, filter, and key options. It comes bundled with Virtual DJ LE, a 4-deck version, and it's a fully MIDI mappable controller. So just in case you guys do want to map this to a Tractor or Serato, you guys can do so. There's no mapping available on the Stanton website at the time of this review, but you guys can have the freedom to go on there and do that as you please. But it just works very nicely with Virtual DJ LE, and the layout really lends itself to the whole Virtual DJ LE and professional configuration. It also has an emergency throughput, and it has a lot of hot cues, sample, loops, effects, controls that DJs need, even in the Virtual DJ LE version before you upgrade to Pro. A few of my minor gripes with the unit is the Virtual DJ LE is not a full-featured software, and you can't mix the external sources without the upgrade to the Virtual DJ LE, which does cost $250. This also will not work as a standalone mixer. You must have it connected to a computer in order to get your power. There's no additional booth output, and it has rather small pitch tempo sliders here. Other than that, it was a solid controller. It's a solid performer. You do have internal DVS playback just in case you do make the plunge for the professional version of the software. And it was just a good all-around use controller. It worked good for different types of music. We didn't have any issues with sound quality at all. We had the 16-bit sound quality was more than enough adequate for the two setups that we plugged it into. Everything just worked as it should. We didn't get any pops, any hisses. No time did the Virtual DJ LE software ever cut out on us. Everything was just positive overall. At the end of the day, we're going to still recommend the DJC4 to any DJ out there who runs Virtual DJ as their premier DJ software of choice. You know, the layout of the DJC4 matches up nicely with Virtual DJ and mostly better than any other controller that's out there on the market today. And it's also a great backup DJ solution for users who, you know, might want to just bring a controller on the road with them. They don't want to bring a whole full feature setup. And I'm also going to recommend this to beginners as well, because beginner, right out of the box, you get everything you need to DJ, and you might not have to upgrade for quite a while depending on how far you want to take it and how deep you want to go into the realm of DJing. So for more on the full written review, head on over to www.djbooth.net/DJS. Keep subscribing to me on the actual YouTube channel. That way you know when these videos are going to drop first. That's at RealDJBlaze. And you can also follow me on Twitter. That way you know when all these news stories and these posts and reviews are coming out. And that's at DJBlaze_DJBooth. Thanks for watching.